Thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. All the love of God was at hand. Now I can see if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day. Just gotta let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. Come on. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. One more time, come on. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Woo, woo, woo. I am only here for God. Yes, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Colorado Springs. I'm glad to see so many of you here this morning, making your way through the snow and the ice to get here and stay warm and be spiritually fed. Woo, woo, we are only here for God. Yeah, so what is the Center for Spiritual Living in Colorado Springs? Well, we are a spiritual community that is welcoming and inclusive. What does that mean? That means we welcome you here, wherever you come from. We welcome you here on the path to experiencing and embodying and getting to know that divine spirit that lives within and as each and every one of us. So is there anyone who's actually made their way here for the very first time today? If so, could you raise your hand? I saw a lot of familiar faces this morning, and I'm not seeing any hands raised, so we are welcoming them if they come in after this portion of the service. And in the meantime, I invite everyone to stand and welcome each other. We are only here for God.
burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am burning up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. There's a love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, then I go inside and quiet my mind. I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. There's a love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There's a love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
The season for nonviolence starts on January 30th, the anniversary of Mohandas Gandhi's death, and it ends on April 4th, the anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s death. Today is day 18, and the word for today is freedom. Bishop Desmond Tutu once said, "When people decide to be free, there is nothing that can stop them. Today, let yourself be who you are and don't allow anyone to influence you differently." If you would like more information on the season for peace and nonviolence, you can see me in the lobby or sign up on a clipboard downstairs. There's also a clipboard upstairs here. The words of inspiration today begin with a quote from the Dalai Lama. "Just as ripples spread out when a single pebble is dropped into water, the actions of individuals can have far-reaching effects." And from Thich Nhat Hanh, "The most precious gift we can offer anyone is our attention. When mindfulness embraces those we love, they bloom like flowers." And from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, "The universal mind is individualized, but not individual. For example, the wave in the ocean will never be a wave by itself. It will be the ocean as a wave. That is all it will be, caught up as a wave, but still the ocean." Perhaps that is the concept that Jesus had when he said that God delivered everything to him, but he could do nothing without him. Pray with me. As I go inside and quiet my mind, I drop down into my heart, and I drop the busyness of the day, knowing that that is the place where God is. I know there is a light inside me, a candle, a light that never goes out. And I know this light guides me and supports me through my life. I know that this light is love, unconditional love, the unconditional love of God. And I know this for each and every person listening to my voice, whether you're here in the sanctuary or online. Each and every person has a light inside them. Regardless of what we've done in the past, that light is still there. That light is shining, and that light will always be there. That light of life and love and peace and joy and harmony and compassion, that light is forever, for that light is God. And right now I bless each and every part of this service. I bless the production team. I bless the musicians as they allow God to sing and play through them, through their voices and their instruments. And I bless the practitioners as they hold the consciousness of this community. And I bless each and every volunteer, for they have seen that light in them, and they want that light shone on everything. And I bless our Reverend Sally as she gives us the words that we need to hear today, the words that will guide us not only through this next week, but through the next phase of our life. And so with great gratitude and thanksgiving, I release my words. I know that they are done. And we say together, and so it is.
This is a song I composed. Our houseless friends are always on my mind, but especially when the temperatures get frigid like they are now. This song's called Anything Helps, God Bless. Anything else, God bless, says the angel in the median. A tattered cardboard sign confesses. Anything else, God bless. Victim of a system that clips her broken wings. She is stuck to the ground, shuffling around Colorado Springs. Sold her aspirations, pawned her wedding ring. Just one more bum begging for crumbs, 'cause that's all that the begging brings. Oh, she lifts up her head and sings, never mind got to thee, I'm damn weak to shout. Well, I never asked for nothing at all, but that's all you seem to hand out. Never mind got to thee, I'm damn weak to shout. Well, I never asked for nothing at all, but that's all you seem to hand. Anything else, God bless, says the angel in the median. A tattered cardboard sign confesses. Anything else, God bless. Well, I bet she has a pretty name that no one ever says. I bet she once burned quite a flame, a few would ever guess. I handed her my pity, never even saw her face, but I wandered off while whispering softly, there but for the grace. Oh, there but for the grace. And she sings, never I got to thee, I'm too damn weak to shout. Well, I never asked for nothing at all, but that's all you seem to hand out. Shout. Well, I never asked for nothing at all, but that's all you seem to hand. Anything else, God bless, says the angel in the median. A tattered cardboard sign confesses that she's going down. Going down. God bless, says the angel in the median. A tattered cardboard sign confesses. Oh, anything helps, God bless, God bless.
You want more of this? Come back here Thursday, February 27th. Yes. Thank you, Jeremy, Ken, Scott, Ted. Our production folks in the back are Wes and Mackenzie and Ben today. Wow. Thank you. All right. Let me get myself set up here. This month, we've been exploring this idea of radical interconnectedness and the art of mindful living. And so I'm sitting with the idea of what does it mean to live mindfully? That's part of what I've been allowing to move through me. What does it mean, this idea of ripples and the art of mindful living? What does that mean? And I think really it's all about developing our awareness and using our personal power of attention to discern the truth wherever we go. So every week, as I sit with these talk-type topics, I give myself an opportunity and I ask Spirit, what do you want to say with this? Ripples, the art of mindful living. And so as I was being with this idea throughout the week, a children's story kept coming to me. And I'm like, really? Well, okay. So I'm going to share with you the idea, the story of the principal's new clothes. How many of you remember this story? Yeah, there's a few of you in the audience who remember this story. So the way the story goes is Mr. Bundy is the principal of a school, and he is a snappy dresser. He's always wearing these really gorgeous suits. And he's kind of full of himself, but that's a whole nother story here. So he wears these beautiful suits, and sometimes during the day, he even changes his clothes so that people can see a new suit, right? So there are some individuals. Let's call them Mo and Ivy. That's their names in the story. And they hear about Mr. Bundy and his love of fine clothing. And they come up with this idea. I won't call it a scheme. Okay, so maybe I'll call it a scheme. They come up with this idea, and they go to the school and they say, oh, Mr. Bundy, we have this delicate, very special cloth that we can use to sew you a new suit. And get this, the material that the suit will be made out of, well, it's very special material. Only those can see it who are really good at their jobs and aren't stupid. So they have planted a seed idea that if you can't see this cloth, then you must be no good at your job or stupid. So the story goes on. And Mo and Ivy come in, and they're in the gymnasium, and they've covered over the windows so nobody can see into the gymnasium where they are sewing the suit. And the sewing machines are whirring, and there's all this noise and activity and all kinds of things going on. And Mr. Bundy just can't stand himself. He's got to see this suit. I mean, can you imagine how delicate, how wonderful this cloth must be? And I wonder, what if I can't see it? What if I'm really not good at my job? What if I'm stupid? So, Mr. Bundy decides that his vice principal, Ms. Moore, Well, he knows she is really good at her job. And she's a really smart person. So he sends her to the gymnasium to see the new suit. And so she gets there and she hears the worrying and all of that going on in the gymnasium, and she manages to sneak into the door with nobody else seeing. And she stands there, aghast. She doesn't see anything. She doesn't see the cloth. And so she hurriedly leaves the gymnasium, and she goes over to Mr. Bundy's office, and she says, "Oh, the suit's looking great, Mr. Bundy," and she leaves. Because she doesn't want him thinking that she's no good at her job or that she's stupid. Who would want that? So, once again, Mr. Bundy decides, well, I have to find out. I have to know about this suit. I mean, the assembly is tomorrow, right? So, he finds Roger. Roger is the smartest kid in the school. He's bound to know. He's bound to be able to see the suit. And so again, Roger goes into the auditorium, into the gymnasium, and he looks and he thinks, uh-oh, maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am. And so he too, he avoids Mr. Bundy. He does not go back to Mr. Bundy's office. He waves at him from afar down the hallway. Great suit, Mr. Bundy, but I got to go. I got a test in so-and-so's office. So he goes. What's Mr. Bundy to do? He has all of these doubts and fears about this suit. I mean, Ms. Moore saw it and Roger saw it, but, you know, they're acting kind of squirrely. So, Mr. Bundy goes in to the gymnasium, and he looks at the sewing machines, and he looks at Mo, and he looks at Ivy, and of course he doesn't see anything. But he really, really wants that new suit. And so he's kind of backstepping, and he says, well, if you can't get the suit done by tomorrow, you know, we could do something else. And Mo and Ivy assure him, well, of course it's going to be fine. We'll get it done this evening. We'll see you at your house tomorrow morning. And so tomorrow morning comes. And tomorrow morning, they bring him the suit. And they help him put it on. Yes. They help him put it on. And they advise him that it's very delicate fabric, so he has to be very careful putting in his arms and his legs. And so, Mr. Bundy, walking himself to school with his new suit on, and his neighbors are looking. And he gets to the school, and everybody's in the auditorium for the assembly, and so he walks himself into the assembly. And as he's walking down the aisle to get to the stage of the assembly, he hears the whispers in the audience. And he's still thinking to himself, wow, I must really not be any good at my job. I must really be stupid. And thankfully, it's at that point that a kindergartner says,
the principal's in his underwear.
so what does this have to do with spirituality and the ripple effects of the art of living mindfully? Well, for me, what it's all about is the sowing of seeds of doubt and fear and division can happen. And even if we are really good at our jobs, and even if we are not stupid, we can sometimes find ourselves behaving in ways that refute that. So I imagine that most of the characters in this children's story, that they did not realize that their own hidden fears, their own biases and prejudices were being triggered. It's a reminder for us to pay attention. Now, Ernest tells us that we exist in limitless opportunities, which are forever seeking expression through us. He tells us, destroy the thought that would place limitation or bondage upon any situation or condition. Talk to yourself, not to the world. There is no one to talk to but yourself. All experience takes place within. He goes on to say that conditions, and here I say doubt, fear, and division, are reflections of our meditations, what we're thinking, nothing else. They have no life of their own. There is but one mind. That mind is our mind now. It never thinks confusion. It knows what it wishes and how to accomplish what it desires. It is what it desires, as each of us. So when Ernest tells us this statement, destroy the thought that would place limitation or bondage upon any situation or condition, he's telling us to get rid of our hidden biases, our thoughts and stories that would in any way interfere with our free interactions with the divine presence that's in ourselves and in all things. So, one of my go-to spiritual practices that consistently helps me to be aware of my attention, to be aware of where I'm falling into doubt and fear, is reading daily guides. And you guys know, Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan, and in acknowledgement and celebration of Black History Month, which we are celebrating this month, I'm going to share with you his reading from February 13th. I actually have it down here, so I'm going to read it from here. But in it, he tells us that you can deliver power without a conductor of fear, lack, worry, tension, hate, jealousy, and criticism. All that the Father hath is yours, as Jesus said, but it must be through you. It comes not by hard work, struggle, or pain, but through receptivity, agreement, and acceptance. So we might ask ourselves, what was being accepted in our story? Dr. Dan goes on with his affirmation, and he says, I affirm the good sense now prevailing eases me into a loving relationship with the I am. It, the I am, responds to me by corresponding due to my complete receptivity a divine pattern, is at the center of my being, awaiting my presence, tapping into it. Now that's an affirmation that I could live by. Complete receptivity. You know, I don't say that I'm anywhere near an electrician. I don't know that much about electricity. But what I do know is if that line that the electricity is running through is corroded or broken, then the power, the electricity can't go through the line. So we get to clear out our mental and emotional power lines of anything that gets in the way of the divine presence coming through us. That's the work that we are called to do in this spiritual community. Remove what gets between us and the divine in our own minds. So this weekend, I started participating in an online class. It's about neurographics. Has anybody heard that term, neurographics? No. Well, I invite you to look it up after service. It's a process, it's an art process, where you draw mindful lines to release old subconscious thoughts. And in doing this, you're releasing those blockages and programming that is subconscious, and you're consciously replacing them with new lines. I think I have yeah. So this is my first attempt at this. And one of the things that I really love about this process is we got to the end of the class, so to speak, and you can see on the picture here that it was colored. And then she told us, now take your colored picture and put it on a piece of paper that's even larger than the one you've been working on. And from there, extend your mindful lines out even further, because the infinite is unbounded. So just take that idea in for a minute. And I ask you, what are you doing to help yourself clear the corrosion or the gunk from your mental and emotional systems? Remember, you are responsible, response-able for what happens within you. Science of Mind teaches that our thoughts create our reality. And what we pay attention to is what's real for us. That suit was real in their minds until they discovered that it wasn't. In psychology, this idea is called biased attention. And it's a type of confirmation bias where we selectively focus on information that confirms our views while ignoring or discounting data that doesn't. This in turn influences how we relate to others and to ourselves. So it can seem daunting to uncover these hidden beliefs that we're talking about, these doubts and fears and biases, especially when we realize that we are the sum total of everything we have ever thought or believed or done, plus, as the picture shows, the influence of others. Think of that ripple effect. So, while you can't change the outside world necessarily with a snap of your fingers, you can change your own perceptions. Change is possible, and it starts within. So a commonly heard phrase within our CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living community, is creating a world that works for all. But how often do we really look at what that means? Who decides what works for all? Who decides who we include in the all? We humans, we are meaning-seeking creations. We create stories to give our lives meaning. Stories help us understand why the world is the way it is and understand our place in it. Societies, religions, they have overarching stories about what it means to be a good person, about who is valued and who isn't. So these stories can change over time. I heard once, I think it was Wayne Dyer who spoke this, and he said, you know, history tells us that back in the day, Americans were to not like the French because the French were our enemies. And then it changed. Oh no, it's not the French. They're okay now. They're our friends. Now it's the Germans. You get my meaning? Yeah. So these stories can change over time, but what remains is that it's people who have the ability to enforce which stories influence cultural or religious norms that have the power, if we give it. We also learn from our families, our educational systems, and from pop culture. So part of our spiritual growth is to begin critically examining the stories, looking for places where the stories lead to separation rather than unity. It's important to remember that these stories aren't true. They are our interpretations of reality. We might be helped along in those interpretations, but they are interpretations. So the point is not to stop telling stories. Stories are powerful. They help us to see the truth with a capital T. The principal is in his underwear. So the second step in becoming aware of our stories is to become mindful of how we objectify and stereotype others. So to do this, we must be willing to get quiet, to pay attention to our first thoughts. Now, when I say first thoughts, it's the initial thought that we have when we meet someone, when a baby cries, when we watch TV, when we listen to the news. That first thought is generally the most unfiltered thought. And it reflects our own hidden beliefs and biases. So pay attention to that first thought. It's food for thought. It's the way you can uncover your own unconscious biases and prejudices. And once we become aware of those thoughts, then we can work to act against them rather than letting them run the show. And yes, this can be an uncomfortable practice. It can put us up against a wall of individuals who are saying other than what we know is true. Stay within. Go to source. Start there. If we want transformation, we must be willing to sit and be uncomfortable in the process. Pema Chodron writes, transformation occurs only when we remember, breath by breath, year by year, moment by moment, to move toward our emotional distress without condemning or justifying our experience. As we engage in this practice, it's important to remember our spiritual tools and to remember, as Holmes wrote, a good-natured flexibility with yourself. Learn to rise from the confusion to peace, from sadness into joy. Turn to the light within. Believe in yourself. Don't worry about looking outside to the material of a suit. You are God in the flesh. You are already dressed in the finest clothing. Seek to free yourselves from hidden beliefs and biases. This is a lifelong practice, and there is no end goal to speak of. But I will say, the more we practice, the more we bring up those hidden biases, put them on paper and let them go, the clearer our line is for the divine to flow through. If there is an end goal, that's it. Clearing the line so that spirit can flow through us fully, unobstructed. So mindful practice, as Ram Dass tells us, is to be here now. Everything we experience in the present moment. And we get to choose what each moment looks like and feels like in us. And this is the practice. Letting go of these hidden biases and beliefs requires that we are no longer living on autopilot, simply operating from what has been, what we learned from all that history back there, the French, the German, the whoever. It also means that we have to let go of what society teaches and is teaching us. Many of us get swept away by the events and the situations around us, and by whatever we see and hear. We can lose ourselves. Take a breath. Come back to the present moment. Remember who you are in that moment. So as you think about all of this week, today, pay attention to any resistance that pops up. It's an invitation. The resistance is an invitation to deeply listen within your own inner self. The wisdom is there. The answers are there. As Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith says, you are the answer. It's there within. And I invite you this week to spend some time with a couple of questions. Where in my life do I allow my biases, my prejudices, my preconceived notions of fear and doubt, where do I let them prevent me from seeing others as they are? How do my hidden biases prevent me from treating others with loving kindness. It's not easy work. It can be difficult. But it's so important that we do this work, that we come together in community and support each other in doing this work. And just in case there's somebody out there in the audience that says, I've done all the work I need to do. We all carry beliefs, biases, and stories that affect the way that we see others and the way we see life, everything, every situation. Many of us carry these hidden fears and doubts that we're not good at our jobs, or we might be stupid. We're not that. We are spiritual beings, divine expressions, having human experiences. We get to choose for ourselves the clothes that we wear. Blessed be. Everybody take a breath. I can feel the tension in the room, so let's shake it off. So I invite our practitioners to stand, those who are able in this moment to stand, as we surround the congregation in love, in consciousness of wholeness and well-being. So as I go within, as I go to prayer, I open my heart, I open my mind, and I feel into the recognition that God is. That there is one life, one power, one presence, and that this one is love. This one is peace. This one is unity and compassion. This one is beauty, unparalleled, unobstructed, free-flowing. And this one is living itself in, through, and as me, in, through, and as each and every beloved in this sanctuary, online and beyond. God is. God is all there is. And I am it. I am that. And knowing this truth for myself, I know that this is the truth of each and every beloved here, no matter what clothes they are wearing on the outside. And so I give thanks for this knowing. I celebrate this knowing. I move forward in my day, in my week, in my year, holding fast to this truth. God is. God is. God is. And I am so grateful. I simply let this be. And together we say, and so it is.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing in the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone in this. Nothing I have to do on my own, because I'm the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I'm the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you. So, two things. As we go through our process today, I encourage each and every one of you who are coming across that piece of corrosion that you need to work through, reach out to a practitioner. Our practitioners are here to offer a safe place to land. They will sit with you. They will hear your story and not buy into it. Yeah. So after service, the practitioners who are available will be up here and ready for prayer. We have the prayer box in the back. If you can't stay, write a prayer request down. It will be attended to. It will be prayed over, knowing the truth of who you are and the wholeness that you are. All right, so that was the first thing. The second thing is, it is our time of joyful giving, and so we're giving to our spiritual community, not to Mo and Ivy, who are going to take our money and run. So I invite us to go within, to take our gift and place it on our heart. If we're not giving something physical in this moment, just place your hand on your heart, knowing that you're giving from your heart. And let's share our affirmation. I joyfully celebrate the flow of God through me. I am grateful for receiving and giving to my spiritual community. I give thanks, always knowing God is my source. And so it is. Thank you.
You can play the game, you can act out the part, but you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother and sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with a love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. What I'd like to do to you, shower the people you love with a love. Yes, and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. Tell me what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone. Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. Think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting grease. It's much better to shower the people you love with the love. Show them the way that you feel. I know things are gonna work out fine if you only will. What I like to do to you, I said, shower the people you love with the love. Yes, and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Can you sing this part right here? It goes like this. It's very simple. Shower the people Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. They're saying every line you love with love. A little rain must fall that you feel. Just like the pouring rain, you love with love. Make it rain. Show them the way that you feel. Make it rain. Love, 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 and sunshine. Make it rain. Love, 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 and sunshine. I'm singing, everybody, 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 make it rain. Now we're gonna sing that part, all right? I'm singing, everybody, 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 make it rain. I'm singing, everybody, 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 make it rain. I'm singing, everybody, 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 make it rain. That's the music director, Ken Jansen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Big breath. Time for conscious giving. Can I have a bitty drum roll? Meeny, miny, mo. Okay, I got this one. Thank you. Okay. The Rocky Mountain Field Institute. The REMFI engages thousands of community volunteers every year through the completion of trail and restoration projects that help conserve and protect our treasured public landscapes. And this was submitted by Evelyn. Evelyn, would you pronounce your last name for all of us? Animet. Animet. Thank you, thank you. We have littles. I heard we had littles. Bring them in.
Hello, beautiful CSL family. My name's Amanda Carmen, and I am this week's volunteer with the children, and Gabriella is going to tell us about what we did today.
We learned that mindfulness means that words can affect other people.
Very well.
Well, let's stand up, join hands if you're willing, and close the service with a peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin center, united.